Hi there, patrons, and thanks for being a patron, because I've been doing some updates, and I want to tell you about what's been happening. You know, some updates about what's been happening with our new media centre. So thanks to you guys, we've managed to get together a place in Winchester. You saw the little video of the room. It looks a lot smaller on video than it will do in reality, but I went out there with Domenico. And as you know, Domenico does all the behind the scenes stuff with me. You've seen in some of the other videos we've done where we've been out and about and things. And now that COVID's out the way, we can do a lot more of these sort of little videos in the real world, as it were. And we've got some great ideas for that. In fact, we'd love to sort of tour Europe and tour America and do some things like that. But that's for another time. But we got the first stage sorted out, which is really getting this place. And it sounds easy getting a place, but actually finding somewhere that is suitable has been very, very difficult, because we didn't want to get into a corporate sort of building, because, you know, that's kind of not the right energy for what we want to do. Then we looked at a mill, which was fantastic. And then we went back to the mill and we noticed it was completely flooded. So that started to make us worried. And then finally, the owner of the mill pulled out, so we couldn't have this old mill, which would have been fantastic on some levels. But I think it was a blessing in disguise in the end. So you go with the flow, don't you, with these things until you find what's right. But the place we've got in mind now, so we can make 2 sets in there, basically. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze, but we can do 2 sets. Briefly, the type is good because we found an old character building. This building goes back to Victorian times. It was built at the same time that Dickens was writing his novels. You know, so great energy to it. I feel has a nice atmosphere. And once you've got a set that's made up and you're not just clearing the dinner table to put the cameras up and do like me and Jane do for you guys when we do our live, this time we can set a set up, and it's going to give us the sort of energy that you need to make these things work, you know, because if you've I've run lots of circles in my life, which are like development circles for people and things like that, and which we can really go deep with our mediumship. And when you sit in the same place week after week after week after week, and energy builds, and every time you go back to that place, you link on to the energy that you've left from last time. That's residual energy. It's been kind of misused, that word, but it's a kind of residual energy. So a Shakti is a better word for it. That's what they call it in India. So hopefully we'll be able to build the energy there, and it already seems to be quite a nice energy. And that will enable us to be able to do a lot more mediumship for you, because you guys have seen me and Jane talking a lot about mediumship. You've seen our clips on the limited stuff that we're able to show, really, from when we've had stuff filmed when we've been on TV. Because, you know, if you film a theatre with us demonstrating, it's a big crew. You've got to have at least 4 cameramen, you've got to have a sound recordist, you've got to have someone to do all the control room, and then a lighting technician, and you're talking thousands and thousands of pounds. So we don't often get a chance to really show off our mediumship. We're good at showing off, but showing off the mediumship, So it will give us an opportunity to have, we've got one area set up you'll see one set. I don't think I'll give away the true feeling what we're planning with it, but we're going to have one set which will just be for doing mediumship. So both Jane and myself will give readings to people. Hopefully much more interesting readings than just a reading, something where there's perhaps Jane and I might not know about something that's happened in the person's life. So there'll be some kind of revelations in it as we go through. And we're thinking about doing that live, because, when you see these mediums on TV and things like that, and I've spoken to other TV channels about, they say, oh, you do it straight away with so-and-so, I won't say the names, we had to film it 6 or 7 times till he gets it right, and then that's the one we show. I think, well, that's not mediumship, that's editing. Anyway, so I'm going off. But so we hope to give you kind of some live mediumship. Sometimes it might sometimes be just me, sometimes it might be just Jane, but we'll have a guest, or we'll have 3 or 4 guests, and we'll be sat around a table doing mediumship, a bit like we did for the Spirit of Diana programs. So that should be very, very interesting. And of course, if we're doing it live, and my thoughts are, What's that? It's the light behind me. The beat of the sunshine. Brilliant idea. Okay. Here we go. Sorry, I lost track. Where was I? Yeah, what we're going to do is basically do some live mediumship, and hopefully we got the energy right and everything. Jane and I can go much deeper with our work. You know, it will be a bit slower paced than you might see on TV, but it will be hopefully very deep, and hopefully be able to link out to you guys there too, because we're going to have a monitor on the wall, so we'll be able to see questions coming in. And if we use this bit of software that we've been using so you can ask questions, it might be possible. We can't promise it yet, but we'll have to try and experiment with this to start giving messages out to the audience as well. And you know, the viewing audience, you guys, but of course, you know, people are already doing that type of thing, but to me it's just shallow rubbish that they do. It's just card reading and silly free psychic readings just to attract people to the channel. Now this hopefully will be evidential mediumship, so you can get real solid moving verifiable proof. Those that have come to me for private readings, and I know a lot of the patrons have, you know that, you know, when you do it properly, you get things that you think, oh, how on earth did he know that? There's no way you could know that, you know. So it will be live. So we got quite a long way, and then we'll have another little section, because we've got a fireplace there, you see. So we'll have a couple of nice Edwardian chairs, and we'll have a nice sort of Edwardian stroke a Victorian type of setting, you know, set a real atmosphere, because Winchester, where this is based, is an old medieval town, and we can go out and film all around Winchester as well and things. So there's fantastic opportunities there for us to you know, do stuff outside and have interesting sets. So we'll have the sort of around the fireplace type thing as well. So you'll kind of get used to seeing two major type of shows, which will be our main focus at first. And we're hoping also on the chats, you know, we'll do the same type of thing where Jane and I chat here at home and chat with you, but also hoping to expand that a little bit more and have some really interesting guests. Now this time, not just talking about mediumship, but we're talking about more like guests that can come and talk about topics that would be spiritually interesting to everybody. And the Nadi does indeed even say that there'll be that type of thing will be happening. So that's where we're getting with it. We've got a lot of equipment to buy, and we've got a lot of stuff to buy for the sets. So please help encourage others to be patrons as well, because it's only through the patrons that we're able to do this. Because, you know, we set it up in Winchester. It's quite a high rent there, so we're going to need all the help we can get. So everybody that's a patron, if you upgrade, that's great, you know, and if you can help encourage others, it does help us a great deal. And this is our first step, of course, to the next step, which is the full spiritual centre. So we're really pleased to get this far. This, I suppose, is a spiritual centre first off, but it's kind of like a virtual spiritual centre, isn't it? It sort of reaches out to everybody and can reach the world this way. So that's really important, and it now gives us, like I say, this opportunity to have other people come to visit us in an environment that's set up specifically so that we can build the energy and make it a real important place. So thank you, patrons, for everything you've been doing to help us with this work, because Jane and I are really, really grateful for all the work. And I'm not going to answer any of the questions you put up this week, but if you put some questions below on your own topics that you want to ask about, I'll make some more videos, and we'll do some more Zooms, and we'll do some interactions with any questions you've got as patrons what you'd like answering. So put those up in the comments on this Patron page, please. Not on the YouTube page, on the Patron page. And I'll pick those up for next time. And any thoughts also about what you particularly like to see. So that's our two main live videos we want to be putting out. I know you guys all like the predictions and things, but you know, sometimes you can do predictions to death. I think I personally think predictions are better to put out occasionally. But I know you like those type of things. But if there's anything you particularly like in kind of general themes about what's popular, we're going to have to review what we do. Those two new themes are going to be very good. But for example, I put the meditation tape out recently, and I noticed that the meditation tapes don't get so many hits, I suppose, people watching it. But I know that some of you are very keen on that. I'm thinking also, for example, of extending some of the teachings of how to develop mediumship, for example. Is that something that interests you? I know a lot of you have got quite interested in the dream stuff I've been putting out. Is that interesting to you, or do you think that's something I should be sort of playing down a bit and doing less of? So anything that you think that you like, I mean, obviously we can see from all our analytics in Google and in YouTube at what's popular, but it's not always about being popular that's important. It's about being meaningful. So again, pop that in your things below. But I'll give you another update soon as things progress. You know, we've measured up. We've got some of the first bits for our set, remarkably for nothing, you know. So things are coming together already. And yeah, just to give you an update. So I'll see you soon, guys. All right. Bye for now.